At Vula closing Africa's 400 billion funding gap with artificial intelligence. $400 billion, just by the way, with artificial intelligence. I mean, who would have thought that there can be an automation and AI systems that comes through and really effectively connects businesses to funders and simplifying application? So if you're looking to apply and get funding and get capital for your business, this could probably be the solution because it's ready to submit answers that are just there like that. So we're going to be speaking to the man behind this particular vision in his capacity as CEO of Vula. Nic Rawhani joins us on the line. Nic, welcome to Channel Africa. Thank you very much for the time.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here. Big fan of Channel Africa.
Oh, that's wonderful to know. Thank you very much. Let's get to kind of understand your career path, so that we can unpack this passion correctly. Nic, talk to us about your participation in private equity, as well as infrastructure across London and Lagos. And how that's informed how you kind of see how we can better build systems, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm actually born and raised in Johannesburg, in Joburg, and my background was in electrical engineering. I spent a lot of time doing Baha'i community development projects in townships across Joburg, and then once I graduated, actually went to Ikawe in the rural Eastern Cape. That got me a Commonwealth scholarship to come to London, which is how I ended up in London. And I was really focused on how can we enable rural communities across Africa to be active agents of their own infrastructure development. Those questions and some of the writing I was doing at the time got me picked up by McKinsey in London. And my work at McKinsey, it really took me into the finance world. I was an engineer first, and then I understood the importance of finance and the power of private equity. I started in doing kind of large private equity deals in software in the US and across London, but then really went back to my roots, which was how do we utilize the power of finance for Africa? And that took me all the way to Lagos, where I was working at the Lagos office, leading teams in African finance and development. And I saw, the huge amount of cost to financiers to actually just run a funding opportunity in the African continent. I also saw the frustration of entrepreneurs when they were trying to go through these processes. People are building huge and amazingly impressive businesses, but they always have to slow down. They always have to chase funders in these incredibly impractical processes that nobody wants to be a part of. And I saw that this was a huge problem, and I really wanted to fix it.
Man, disruption at this level is very, very important, especially with the incorporation of artificial intelligence. I mean, that's where the world is right now. And I was noting the other day that I saw a gentleman talk about the fact that, AI is moving so quickly and growing every 3 months, which is scary, but also poses a lot of opportunity at the same time. So let's talk about incorporating artificial intelligence in your solution program, if you will, through Vula. Talk to us about Vula as a platform and how it's actually going to be addressing some of these pain points as you mentioned them.
Absolutely. So my co-founder, Alex Goff, he's a British boy, blue-eyed British boy, and he'd never even been to Africa when I first met him. Now he's pretty well traveled, but he was building AI systems for some of the biggest banks in the UK. And what the systems were that he built was that he took very granular data from bank users and used it to match them to the best products that the bank was offering. And our unique insight was that we could build an AI agent that accompanies African businesses and takes their operational data, simple operational data, and uses that to really find the businesses their best funding options across grants, debt, equity, impact investment, with the main goal being to save founders a huge amount of time when they're even looking for what opportunities are out there. So I feel super grateful because, over the past year and a half since we started, actually rolling out our AI funding assistant. We've had more than 2,500 African SMEs actually use it to find funding. We've made over 60,000 automated funding matches. And now it's just kind of going from strength to strength. We're soon going to be launching in both South and East Africa a new funding platform that actually helps hundreds of thousands of SMEs access funding.
Wow.
And so what it basically does is it uses the data that the business produces in its, in its daily work. Instead of requiring founders to go and, write a long application or print out forms and fill them in. Instead, each AI assistant belongs to the SME. All of the data belongs to them. And the AI assistant can go out and find funding opportunities and help the founder put their best foot forward automatically by helping them to apply as well.
Oh, this is legendary. I love it. I love it. I think also perhaps if we could gain an understanding of what the actual challenges are when we're looking for funding, we'll better appreciate the system that you've built. So, what are some of the challenges that SMEs on the African continent face uniquely when it comes to applying for funding? Is it the knocking on the door and then nobody answers? What actually is it? Are we afraid to go for it and really look for funding because we really just feel like our bubble will be burst before we even try? So what is the actual problem so that we can, I think when we understand that, then we'll better appreciate the system that you've built.
Absolutely. So, look, the truth of the matter is that the funding value chain is broken at multiple stages. The first stage is entrepreneurs even understanding what funding is out there and makes sense for their type of business. Across Africa, we've got one of the most fragmented funding ecosystems in the world because our traditional financial institutions generally don't finance SMEs, right? In the UK or in the US, if you have a good business idea, you go to your local bank, you go with a business plan, you present some traction, and the bank finances you. But for a large majority of SMEs across Africa who require relatively smaller check sizes, so let's say less than $150,000, that's about 2 to 3 million rand, it's just not worth banks supporting them in that way. And so what that means is that the traditional pathways for getting access to finance are closed, and you have to sort of go to this open market of many types of funders. There are charities, there are impact investors, there are private funders, there are people who want you to do a backflip, and if you can do a backflip, then you can get the funding. If you belong to certain demographics, you can get funding. So it's very confusing. So the first step is even entrepreneurs finding out what funding is out there for them and makes sense for their business.
Right.
The second step is actually applying. The application process itself, a lot of the time, takes really long. You don't get clear feedback. Most of the time you get rejected, and you have to spend serious time putting together a good application for these funders. So you as the entrepreneur, even though you're extremely busy, you've got loads going on in one of the most hostile business environments in the world, are at the same time tasked with risking your time and effort for something that's probably not going to pan out. And so the third part that sucks then is that entrepreneurs historically have just stopped engaging with business funders. Right? Because they say, look, you don't give me feedback. You just say no to me all the time. You take all of my data. You don't do anything with it. Why would I continue to engage with you? What that's meant is that we just have less data about successful interactions between SMEs and funders. And so nobody in this ecosystem really knows what a scalable, successful funding ecosystem looks like. So all of that, it's about finding, it's about efficiency in applying and screening, and lastly, it's about knowledge and learning. And so our AI really helps with all three of these. By using the data of the business and its operations to find funding, we stop the amount of time that entrepreneurs need to, look at this very fragmented ecosystem to see, hey, look, I am a young Black entrepreneur. I'm female, I'm in the manufacturing sector, I'm making food. What is out there for me? I don't want to go and spend 3 hours Googling about this and finding all of these opportunities that were from 3 years ago. Just show me what I need now. And so Vula's funding inbox does that. The second part is Vula collects all of that data into one centralized place for entrepreneurs to decide who they want to share what with. But
Yes.
if you've already answered a question like, what's the purpose of your business? Or how much money did you make last year? Why should you repeat yourself? So we don't believe in repetition. Vula's AI assistant has this single knowledge base, which it uses to create these applications. And, we even have a WhatsApp assistant that helps our entrepreneurs. They can chat with it to figure out the best ways to answer some of these questions. And then the third part is the learning. Because we're tracking all of the data between the funders and the SMEs, we're actually able to help our funding clients do way better with their back office systems, lower the turnaround times and the cost for them to pre-screen and make decisions. And we also help them give way better feedback to entrepreneurs. So, I'm really proud of some of our current users. For instance, Anzisha Prize from the African Leadership Academy. They use Vula and they're able to give really deep and clear feedback to entrepreneurs that are applying who maybe didn't make it this time, but they're given clear feedback as to what they can do next time in their own business's context.
Great.
And to me, that's all about learning and improving so that, all of us want to build a path to prosperity across Africa.
Okay. Oh man, this is so well thought out, and I think just a deep understanding of the various challenges within the different African regions is really going to make this thrive. Nic, we are unfortunately running out of time, but I want to understand, if I'm new to AI, the space can be very intimidating. If all I know is ChatGPT, and now there's Vula, and they're clearly going to open a whole new portal for my business, that can be quite intimidating. So where can I go to find out more information about Vula? Perhaps, gain some non-intimidating, if I could put it that way, information on how this can assist my business to get capital.
Absolutely. Look, our job is to try to make it as simple as possible for SMEs and for founders, because they have enough worries for themselves.
Right.
So the best way for you to think about Vula is that Vula really represents your pathway of taking advantage of all of these AI advances, at least from the point of view of a business. And it utilizes all of the context about your business to ask those most important questions and connect you to funders that are relevant. So our goal is to make it super simple. The easiest way to learn about Vula is to go onto our site, www.vula.ai or www.vula.vc, and try it out for yourself. Vula is free for African SMEs. Our whole business model is based around ensuring that no African founder ever pays for access to our products, to ensure that they can really take full advantage of the AI revolution and make AI work for African finance.
I think this is wonderful. As we're moving more and more away from business economies into really structuring our own spaces for business, this is so important. I think subconsciously, Nic, I was a little bit afraid to ask you what the cost is. So thank you for mentioning that it is absolutely free for SMEs on the African continent. So I think this is such a wonderful place to start. And I would take advantage if I were you, a business owner trying to get funding for your business. Nic, thank you. All the best. I think we need a part 2 for this conversation and really just perhaps take one business through their application. I think that would be great fun. Hey.
Absolutely. I agree. I think that would be wonderful. Let's do it.
Yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to get the CEO back on, the CEO of Vula, Nic Rawhani, joining us on the line. And we're really talking about closing this gap. I mean, $400 billion is not a small number. So if artificial intelligence can come into the fore and really assist, that would be wonderful. The future is bright for the African continent. We're looking forward to what's to come, and definitely a part 2 is loading as we assist one business to get onto Vula and open space for capital, or access to capital, as it were. It's